Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Revisiting Era. I am so excited you guys are tuned in for this really fun and unique episode that we have for you guys today. The topic of this episode is going to be about travel, about learning to be abroad, talking about our experiences and what we learned from them, what we took away from that as being kids and as coming into our adult life, how we viewed it, and everything about that, really. I have a really special guest with me today. I have one of my amazing friends, Debora. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, my name is Debora. I'm from Brazil. I'm 23 years old. That's crazy because I feel like
Yeah.
I'm 21. Every time I gotta introduce myself, I'm like, oh, I'm 21, but like actually I'm 23.
I feel like 16.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes. But yes.
So what do you do? Anything, what do you do? What do you like? How we met?
Oh yeah, so we met at church. Right when I came here to America. I think I was already here for like 9 months.
Yeah.
And we met at church.
What year was that? That was last year? 23 or
Yes,
22? I forget
it was
how long.
2023.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, I think around May.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I do love traveling, and I'm from Brazil, so I'm doing exchange program here in America for about 2 years. By the way, I'm leaving in 8 days, I think.
8 days. That's
8
crazy. That's why I
days.
wanted to do this episode. Just like
Yes.
something to remember for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah, I'm going back to Brazil, and that's all.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing. So we have a really cool topic to talk about today, and it is all about your experience, my experience with traveling to a new country, getting assimilated with the culture, and just everything that came with the culture shock of being in a new place, and what kind of drove us to take that leap of faith and to take those steps to immersing ourselves with new culture. Like for me, I didn't travel to El Salvador until I was at the grown age of 22, but it was definitely a culture shock for me just growing up in America, and vice versa for you. You came to America last year? Or
Yeah, 2 years ago.
you came to America 2 years ago, came to the US 2 years ago, and yeah, I would just love to hear your experience about that. So let me open up the discussion with why are you passionate about this topic in general?
Oh yeah, so like basically, my parents were missionaries when I was a kid, so we were basically traveling all around Brazil, and because they were planting churches, and I got the chance to visit a lot of places, but I was moving. The good thing I was like meeting new people, new culture, because Brazil is a big country, so we have like different cultures in different areas of Brazil. But at the same time, the bad part is I was really never like being able to connect with people for more than like 5 years, and I would have to move again. But I always really like to meet other people and see new places. Yes, and I decided to come to America. I really thought I would come when I was like 25, 26, but then I was really not happy in college, and my parents would not like let me just give up. And I was like, what about if I like do exchange program? And that was a way to like
Literally get out.
yeah, like a break.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a 2 years break. But I always wanted to come, but I never thought it would be like at 21.
That's super young, and that's such a leap of like courage that
Yes.
takes. I can't imagine, because I think for the first generations growing up in America, like you were born in America or you came here super young, I don't think it ever crosses our minds of like, or maybe we do think about this, like what would it have been like if we had stayed in our home country? What would it have been like if our parents never immigrated to America and they never assimilated here for us in a way? So it's something I never thought about until meeting people as I came of age, meeting people like you who just came here for the first time, and like meeting people who needed help assimilating into the country, and it was just such a culture shock for me because I was like, I could be you, but I'm not. And so it was super interesting, and I just love meeting people, and I like want to like literally help them so much, because it hits close to home, because I see my mom and my dad just coming here and like facing that struggle in a sense, but also not giving up, you know. I think there's something so courageous about coming here and not quitting and not going running straight back home, because I know like when I am in an uncomfortable situation, all I want to do is go back to what is familiar. And for some people that's not an option. So that's just super cool to
Oh,
think about.
yes. Because I came as an au pair. Au pair program is a program you come to study and be with a host family. They sold the program telling us like, oh, you're gonna be a big sister, you're gonna be part of the family. What sometimes it is, but most in the end of the day, you are basically a nanny, like
Mm-hmm.
living with a host family and like going to school and like really not being paid well.
Mm-hmm.
And at the first month when I realized that, I was like, oh, what about if I just gave up? And I was like, no, I'm gonna finish.
Mm-hmm.
Before coming here, my mom was like, in case like you didn't like, you just can come back home. Like at least you like didn't travel.
Yeah, at
At
least you
least you have
tried. Yeah.
vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I really thought like the first week here, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make until like 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, maybe what about if I give up? But I decided to finish at least the first year. And after the first year, I was like, okay, I can make another one.
Mm-hmm.
And yes.
Wow. It was like that 3 month goal, and then you made it, and then you did a whole other year. That is
Yes.
crazy. I don't think
Yes.
I would be able to do that. Just, I don't know, given like, I hate that I'm a quitter, but I try not to be. But I definitely see like you're so driven, and like you're so willing to try new things and new experiences. So that's super, super cool. So what was like your understanding of different cultures as a young age? Like I know your parents were missionaries, so you traveled all around. Like what did you get from learning like about different groups of people growing up? How did you view that?
So, the first 10 years of my life, I was living in the northeast of Brazil, where it's like a little bit poor and the culture is very different from the other areas. Like the food and even like the way they talk, the language, the accent.
Mm-hmm.
And when I moved to the center of Brazil, when I was 11, I had like the whole accent, the whole culture, and like people used to make fun of me at school, and I was like, "What?" I like it's same country, but felt that wasn't the same country,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to understand that people are different, and you can find beauty in different cultures. Like every culture, you can find something good about it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I moved here, of course, like the language, the food, all of that was like challenging me, but I found beauty in all of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so great that you're able to see like something good in everything. I think for sure that is definitely a mindset and perspective people want to have if they want to venture out, if they want to travel. Because I feel like most of the time I'm stuck in like thinking about what is causing me the most issues right now, and then kind of like overthinking or like yeah, like thinking too much about that one thing and not focusing on the other. So I really think having that perspective of being able to see the good in the bad or seeing the good in the uncomfortable is definitely a necessary component if you're going to want to travel. My exposure to culture at a young age, it was very limited, I'd say, just based on where I grew up. It was like I was the only different one, and I really didn't pay attention to my own culture, trying to fit into everyone else. But as I grew up, like I met different people, and it was very eye-opening to see that we all grow up so differently, but we are in the same place. And I think that can bring together so much potential of people gaining stuff from different cultures. So, like, are there like any examples that you have or like takeaways of like things that really stood out to you by talking to people of different cultures?
At the end of the day, I was gonna find like something that's similar to our culture.
Mm.
And here, especially in the area we live, is a lot of very diverse.
It's so diverse. Yeah.
Yes. So like I met a lot of people from like all around the world. and I was gonna find like something that's similar to our culture. Um, but something that stood out for me here is that's random. It's how like people are so nice at the customers.
Really?
Yes, because like in Brazil, when you're gonna like go, at the Starbucks, you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
say like, "I want a coffee" or like, "I want a bread,"
Mm-hmm.
and in Brazil,
Mm-hmm.
here you're gonna have to say like, "Can I have, please?"
Yeah. Really?
And
That's crazy. I
yes,
didn't
and
know
like
that.
in Brazil, that's so common. Like it's not
Mm-hmm.
rude at all.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got here, I was like, "Yeah, I want a coffee," and the lady was like, "Wow, this girl, she's not polite
Oh
at
my
all."
gosh.
Yeah, so I had to learn like how to talk, because like even like when you speak English and you translate from your own language, that the thing's not gonna make sense.
Uh-huh.
Yes, but I think here I had to learn like how to be like polite, like nice, even though sometimes I feel that it's kind of fake.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But yeah, like you have to. It's a way to hear like that works here.
Uh-huh. And I hear that so much. Like, just given we live in America, there is a north, there is a south. And I feel like
Mhm.
the northern states, especially like New York City, it is very much from what you're saying. Like, a very direct. People are very
Yes.
blunt. People are very like on the move and they don't have time to be like polite and take time to have a conversation in a coffee shop, you know? Unlike the
Mhm.
south, I've also heard of parts in California being like, people really want to have a conversation with you. And it is just like a form of like their culture and how they talk and like, but it's not really like that they're trying to take your time or anything. That is just like what they're accustomed to, the style
Mhm.
of communication that is there. I also like related to that as a culture shock. I grew up in the northern like Virginia area, and so traveling to the south for the first time, guys, was such a culture shock because people like that southern charm, the southern hospitality. I don't know if you've ever been like down there
Where like
in south, like North Carolina, South Carolina,
oh yeah,
Tennessee. Like
yes,
it
yes.
is so different from
Mhm.
here. People here are literally just wanting to do their own thing and get it done and they're out. I don't know. I just saw like such a extreme difference between going to a restaurant here, the same thing, same chain, and then going to one down there. Completely different
Mhm.
hospitality. They will literally go all out for you. And for me, like just working in the customer service industry, like if I were to work down there, I don't think I could because I am just it's a completely different
Mhm.
way of living, a way of talking to people. And we don't mean to be rude, it's just a different area. So I just think that's super cool.
Yes.
I don't know if you have anything to add on to that.
Yeah, like that was like really hard for me at the beginning because it looked like I was rude, but
Mm-hmm.
actually like it's just the culture. What else? Oh, as a friendly thing, because in my culture in Brazil we are very friendly and doesn't matter if it's like a girl or a boy.
Yeah.
And like I feel that here in America is a lot of like boys and girls cannot like be one on one or like
Mm-hmm.
cannot be like their friends,
Mm-hmm.
or like if you guys are two together, it's like you are having some things, having a thing.
Yeah.
And like in Brazil, it's like nobody cares about like if
Mm-hmm.
you're a boy and a girl,
Mm-hmm.
and people are friendly with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that here, like you cannot be friendly with everybody because they would like think you have something else.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that is something. Wow, that's a really good point.
I had to like really change that because at the beginning I was like friendly with everybody. Like
Yeah,
I was in the grocery store and like, oh yeah, like talking, and then I would like realize it. Oh, they were like
they're
acting
gonna
weird
look at you
after.
different. Yeah.
And I had to like learn that.
I really wish it wasn't like that. Like I was like born with a naturally like flirty personality. So I think just like being here, it's really a lot of like limiting yourself and restricting yourself from something that you like that seems natural. Cause yes, I want to be friends with everyone, but everyone here, especially in this area, always has to have an opinion on who is with who and like what people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
People are very opinionated.
Yes.
And I don't know, it goes to show like I'm guilty of it, of making assumptions that are not true, but it's just so common in this culture,
Yeah.
like here, especially if you're in like groups, like
Like clicks.
community,
Yeah.
cliques. Everyone observes everyone. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something I've definitely noticed. Transitioning a little bit, did you ever feel like did you ever have doubts about coming to the US or like any restrictions or anything like that that
Mm.
went through your mind?
So at the beginning, my plan was not coming to America. I was
Mm.
going to South Africa.
Oh
I really
wow.
wanted to go to Cape Town and do
Mm-hmm.
my exchange program there.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized that there would not be like that safe.
Yeah.
It's a great country. It's like my number one to visit,
Oh, wow.
but it's not the great place to go as a girl alone. My parents were like, "Oh, I don't think that I feel
Comfortable.
comfortable."
Yeah.
Yes, you going there like alone for that much of time, and then I had to like find a place that would be easy and like because here we have like immigrant rules for au pair,
Mm-hmm.
so we have like LCC, like a local coordinator
Mm-hmm.
to like watch on you and
Mm-hmm.
like if you need
Oh,
anything. In
that's
South
good.
Africa, like they don't have that.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So like, what about like if I die there?
Literally, what if?
It would be like how my parents are gonna know something like
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but I never had really like doubts about here. Actually, like everything happened so fast. Like I decided to come and everything started.
You just did it. Just went for
Yes,
it. Wow.
and to be honest, like when I came here, like didn't even believe I was here for like the first month
Mm-hmm.
because I was like it's so crazy. Like my brain was not simulating that I was here.
Uh-huh. I think that's super crazy. Like you just feel so out of place. I can't imagine. For sure. But tell me a little bit more of what it was like your first week or like your first couple months. Like what did
Oh
you
my
do?
god, yeah. So like I think my first week, again, I was like feeling out of place. My mind was not here at all. So basically, I was just like trying new places, like Chick-fil-A. That's what everybody when it comes to America does. Like typical foods I just
The
have
American
here.
experience,
Yeah,
fast
the
food. Oh
American
my goodness.
experience. Like, yeah, and I was like shocked. Like here we have a lot of stores, and like clothes here are very cheap. We have access to like a lot of stuff here, and I think the first time was like seeing like the prices, like how everything is cheap.
You think it's cheap in
Oh
America?
my god, yes.
No
Like,
way.
like really, like when I got here the first time, I was like, wow, everything here is so cheap. Like, do you know makeup, like Target? I was
What?
getting crazy in Target. But then now I go to Target, I'm like, bro, that's so expensive. This
Oh my
economy. But at the
gosh.
beginning,
Brazil,
yes,
what's going
yes.
on?
I think it's because the inflation. Yes. But yeah, my first month here was just like, wow, everything here is so cheap. Yes.
That's super cool. I would love to have that experience. Literally, well, I kind of did with El Salvador. Yeah, I go there and everything is literally half the price of what it is here. I honestly hope everyone experiences that at some point in their
Yes.
life because it's so cool. I'm like, wow, I can get this for so much cheaper.
Yeah.
And here I have to literally like save up so much. Literally, food. I cannot emphasize the food prices in America.
It's so
Like,
expensive,
y'all,
right?
I can't
No,
do
guys, like
it.
we cannot like go to a lunch and spend like less than $20.
Literally, if you want to eat good, I usually
Yes.
be getting the kids meals to save money, but like
Same, like a
it's
Chipotle.
it's never ideal. Us in Chipotle, we be eating
Yes.
that kids meal up. But no, I went to El Salvador for the first time when I was 22, and I knew that was late, but it was like circumstantially like I wasn't able to go before then. But we finally went. I took that step, and I didn't want to go. Initially, I literally did not want to have any relationship with my extended family because a part of me was like, they never came to see me, they never reached out, so why should I take the whole effort as a grown adult with my own life and everything? Like, I do everything on my own, I don't need anyone, why would I want to go see them? But I did it, and I was like, you know what, if I don't like it, I don't have to come back, I'll never travel again. But I went, and it was nothing from what I expected. I came there and I literally felt so I was so whitewashed. You have no idea.
Really?
I couldn't even like at that time my Spanish was not good. I've obviously practiced way more now. But I had forgotten a lot on how to speak Spanish because I had lived by myself for the past 4 years and I was like literally tweaking because I didn't understand them. And I was like, why? How do I not understand my own people? Like, it's so crazy because I look like everyone else. Everyone else here looks like me. And that has never happened in my life, but I can't understand them. So I felt that extreme disconnect from my culture. And I was like, where am I? Who am I? Like, literally, who am I? Like, I look like these people, but everything about me is so American. It's so white. It's so like, it's not what this is. And I grow up, I saw the conditions, I saw like the lifestyle, and I was like, people live like this. It's like I was taken back 20 years in time because of like where I grew up. It's very like advanced, it's very updated, and back then it's literally like we're living in a mud house, and I was like, this is ridiculous. there was something beautiful in that because it like here it in El Salvador, like I felt everything was more authentic. People were more genuine. People would literally take the time to have a conversation with you because phones are not a thing. People don't got iPhones there like on their phone all the time like we do here. People are not distracted by so many things, and it's not so much an individualistic culture over there. I was just blown away. I don't know. What were some of your biggest culture shocks in America besides like the pricing and stuff?
Yeah, I have a question before
Yes.
that. Like,
Yeah.
did you go with your family there, or you go by yourself?
I went with my mom
Mm-hmm.
because she hadn't seen her family in years as well.
Oh,
So we both went together, and she really wanted me to go. So
and
yeah,
how was like your family like there, your relatives'
mm-hmm.
reaction to you, like talking to you, interacting?
it was it was interesting. I initially like I talk about this pretty often, but it was very hard to see
Mm-hmm.
because on one hand, I know I was privileged enough to grow up in America, to grow up with having like resources and never really having to struggle as much. But again, I was like, I missed out so much because I didn't know them. And these are people that are like blood, and these are people that I would have loved to have a relationship with as I was growing up. And I didn't have that. So that was super hard seeing that. And it was very bittersweet. I think that's the best word to describe it. Bitter in the sense that I really wish I could have known these people and they would have seen me grow up because they didn't. And they don't know anything about me. And now we can't communicate because my Spanish is so bad. But again, it was like, I think I needed this closure and I needed to find out my roots and to meet people who are related to me in order to gain like more of who I am and like my identity and where I come from. And if I have anything to fall back on, it is them. And as different as I may be from them, like I don't think I'll ever be able to relate to them on
Mm.
like a close level, just given how different we are mentality wise, like what we know, how we speak, how we act, how we dress. Like we are
Mm-hmm.
so different. But I think just having like that sense of knowledge that they know me and I know them and now we're connected, it's gonna be okay. And I guess like I have my whole life ahead to build relationships with them. 22 years was taken away, but there's so much more to life than that,
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
that's nice. When you talk about like when you went there and you were like shocked about like how advanced it here in America is and how different is there. So I went to Brazil last year for vacation,
Mm-hmm.
and when I got in my city, I was like, wow, like it's so different because I when I came here like the first month I never were like, oh, it's so different, like yeah, here is so much more advanced because like I was like trying to adapt it,
Yeah.
getting adapting. um and when I came there I was like, wow, America's like so much updated than here, like the roads, like the whole city, like the technology. And I was like, wow, that's so sad because at the first place I never thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
But also like about like how they are genuine, like they're like trying to have a conversation with you, like even though they don't have phones, like they're not like distracted. I felt that so much, and I felt it in Brazil is like more, they really want to have a conversation with you. If you were
Yeah.
like talking to you, is because they're not like trying to be nice or like trying just to be
Mm-hmm.
polite or like asking about how you are just because like part of the routine. If they ask you, it's because they really want to know like how are you and having a conversation with you. I think that's nice.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. That's awesome. So different from here, which is just mind blowing to me. I wish it was like that here,
Yes.
because it's so like, I think people need that. And I think that just gives into the culture, like how people do strive to be in community. And here it's kind of like, do your own thing, do it how you want it, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You can do what you want. But those are just my thoughts. But an overall question, growing up, what were like your hopes and dreams about seeing the world? Like as a kid, did you ever think you would end up in America?
I always knew that I was like end up in another country traveling because that was my dream,
Mhm.
but I never thought it would be like America.
Really?
Yes, I thought like Europe or like South Africa, never
Mm-hmm.
really like America.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the first person in my whole family that came to America,
Oh, wow.
so I never really like had someone here to like, oh, I know that person.
Mm-hmm. Did you meet other people in like your situation, like when you came here?
As an au pair.
Au pair, or like
Oh,
anyone who like
yes.
immigrated like from Brazil to like here?
Yes. So like here where we live, we don't have like a big community of like Brazilians, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so oh, I have something to talk about after
Go
this.
ahead, go ahead.
But then I met like another au pairs.
Mhm.
And yes, so like the au pairs community here where we live is kind of a little bit big, but then because like a just 1 year or 2 years program, like they go back home or they move to another state. So it's always like changing. The first time a friend of mine left, I'm gonna say her name, Camila.
Yeah.
When she left, I was like in shock. I was like so sad. I cried. I couldn't like stop thinking about her for like months.
Mhm.
I think until now I can like still think about her like very often, because when I got here, like she was the only person that would talk like the same language as me.
Oh wow.
So I felt like as a family,
Mhm.
felt that she was like my sister. And when she left, bro, I was so sad.
Mhm.
But yeah, so then after that I met like other people, and because here where we live, we don't have like a big community of Brazilians. I started to getting really to Hispanic people,
Yeah.
and I fell in love. Like I'm telling you, like bro, I when I got here, I was not like speaking in Spanish at all, and I would go to a place and they talk like I was Puerto Rican, and they would start talking to me in Spanish, and I was like, I didn't come here to speak Spanish,
Uh-huh.
and I was like just answer back in English. Again, but my Spanish was not that good.
Yeah.
And then when I started to getting relate to Spanish and the Hispanic people, oh my gosh. Now they were like, hola, ¿cómo estás? I'm like, ¿cómo estás? ¿Y tú?
No, girl, you got it.
Yes, because like I love the Hispanic people, and it was like the most close culture like that I have
Yeah.
here. The one that I could relate. So yes.
No, but that's super cool. Like I literally saw you get immersed with like a bunch of like Nova Hispanics, and I was like, yes, queen.
And then
Like,
like the point was when I went to a Hispanic church, and that like changed my whole life. Like now I'm telling you, I love the Hispanic people, and like here in America we have a lot of Hispanics.
yeah.
And
In our-
even the food, because like here where we live, we don't have like Brazilian restaurant. I mean, we have like fogo de chão, but like it's not really like authentic. And so I couldn't like eat my food, and then I started like having the Hispanic food as my food because it was so close to like what I eat in Brazil. Of course, like in Brazil, we don't put avocado in the food.
Oh,
But I'm putting, bro.
she put an avocado on the
yes.
food. No, I'm so glad you
Yes.
found that community for sure, and we just like were able to help and like be that comfort for you. Like that's really good to hear for sure. Moving on to the next question. Talk to me about like traveling when you were a kid, and like how did that increase your desire to like see the world?
Yeah, so like when I was a kid, my parents were always like traveling, but of course it was not like, oh, let's go to vacation in this
No.
fancy
Yeah.
place. No, it wasn't. It was like, oh, we have like this day off. What about if we take the kids? My parents saying, what about if we take the kids for like this beach or like this park, or like, oh, the church was like going to a retreat, and my parents would take us with them, and because my family lives in São Paulo, is like other state in Brazil. Like relatives, we would go there for vacation, but it was not like the vacations I do now. It was a different.
That's
Yes.
really cool. Yeah. I didn't travel much growing up, and it always like felt really stuck. I don't know, but I always did want to see the world, and like in a way, I kind of developed a fear of travel as I got older because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like every time I travel, I get so scared, and in the end, I love it. Like I fall in love with
Yes.
where I'm going. But I think that initial build of the anxiety of it, it's like what's gonna happen, like the unknown, like everything is so unpredictable,
Yes.
and like what's gonna happen. So I do get like scared, but I really want to get out of it, getting out of like your comfort zone. Do you have any like advice for people considering to travel?
Like just do it. Like you're not
Just
gonna
do it.
regret. Like I did my first trip, my solo trip, like to Bahamas, Nassau. What, 2 months ago? I
Yes.
invited. No,
She
no.
did, and I had to bail last minute
Yes.
because
But like I booked my trip like 10 days before.
It was very spontaneous. And
Yes.
that's what I love about you. Like, you're so spontaneous. Like, I'm so spontaneous too, but people here are so hesitant. They're like,
Yes.
no, because I was literally so set on going, but my job wouldn't let me. And I was like, oh,
That's so
I
sad.
hate it here. But yeah.
Exactly. Like I really like I was in a point I was like really getting sick like mentally because I was so tired and
Mm-hmm.
I needed like to go to a place and just
Mm-hmm.
relax. And then I asked for like 4 days off at my job and I found like a nice ticket. I think I paid like $100 because I had
Mm-hmm.
some points and I was like, bro, that's my opportunity. Let's go. And then I went there. I didn't have like any person there. I just like went solo. And Nassau is like a really small island. And unfortunately, like the culture is different, so like has a little bit of harassment
Mm-hmm.
by
Yeah, that's what
males.
I heard. Yeah.
But like I was trying to be like more wise possibly. Like when people there would ask like, "Hey, where are like your friends are here? Like with who you came?" And I was like, "Oh yes, my friends are here. Definitely, they're at the hotel."
Mm-hmm.
I would not say like, "Oh yeah, I'm on a solo trip." I'm sorry, God, I had to lie, because I was not gonna like
It's
expose
for your protection. Like, I think, yeah,
exactly,
being a female solo traveler
especially
definitely comes with
because
that.
there has a lot of like men's
Mm-hmm.
and like the men's were like talking. The hours was then like coming to like hey little baby girl like
Oh.
yes like where's your family, like are you here alone? So
Oh,
like
no.
I didn't feel like safe to tell this. I made friends.
Okay, that's
I
good.
made friends at the hostel, and then after like the second and the third and the fourth day I was within, so I was not feeling alone.
Yeah.
But the first 2 days, yes, I was total alone.
Oh my goodness.
But I was good, bro. I was having fun.
That's good, and you needed that mental break as
Mm-hmm.
well. Do you have like some suggestions for like female solo travelers? Because I know a lot of
Mm.
like people who are on listening to stuff, listening to travel things, like they want to get out there, but I think it's just like that unknown. So do you have anything to say about that?
I would say be wise. Be wise with who you talk, who you share, and don't make clear that you were there alone,
Mm-hmm.
because then you're gonna be like easy. You're gonna be an easy target to be like I don't know.
Stalked,
Yeah, stuff like that, like kidnapped.
kidnapped.
Yes, because like it's for us girls, like it's hard when you travel because most of the times it's not safe. Like
Mm-hmm.
nowhere is safe for a girl.
No, absolutely not.
So yes, I think I would say, be wise. Like go enjoy, but like don't drink that much. Don't use drugs because you were there alone. Nobody's gonna be there
Mm-hmm.
like looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
So just enjoy, but being wise at the same
Be cautious,
time.
be careful. Don't let
Is
yourself get in a vulnerable place. And I think that applies to
exactly,
everywhere, even here, like
exactly.
wherever you go, like always be on guard is a very, very important that I do want to emphasize. Something we definitely learn growing up. Um, but overall, as we begin to close, what is like the best thing you gained from your travel experiences?
Knowing that this world is so small and it's so many people really nice around the world,
Mm-hmm.
and every time I go to places and start to seeing the landscape, the nature, I start to like realizing how big this is and how amazing God is and how God like made all of that, and how like all of the people around there, they in a way they're gonna connect to me.
Mm-hmm.
We are related in somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I think every time I go out, I go travel in a different place, I'm like in shock with how pretty everything is, and yes, how this world was made to be explored,
Mm-hmm.
was made to enjoy. Yes.
It gives us like hope of humanity still. I think a lot of people do feel stuck where they are,
Mm-hmm.
and feel like it is the end and like this is what I got, this is what the world is. But it is a false like perception. I think, like you were saying, like it's definitely inspirational to get out there and like immerse yourself with new culture, see something new. The world is out there for you, it's out there to explore, it is a creation, and to take advantage of it is to take advantage of like creation and all that. It's
Exactly.
super super cool, and I do want to travel for sure, way more in the future.
Yeah, and I started realizing how I have this whole world to explore,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of opportunities. And sometimes we just got stuck in like, oh, in this country that I born, or in this country that I immigrated, I just have this option. No, you have this whole world to explore.
Absolutely.
So makes me feel that like I can move to whatever, whenever, you know. I don't want to like be stuck in borders, you know, and I just have to stay in this place forever and spend here the rest of my life. No, like I have a lot of opportunities. We have the whole world to explore.
Yeah, we're so blessed by that for sure. Wow, this was such a cool discussion to have with you today. So thankful you were able to be on my podcast right before you go back. It's very sentimental, but I'd like to thank you for giving me the time, giving me your time. Any last words for the audience that you have?
Traveling doesn't have to be expensive and fancy. You don't have to be rich to explore this world. I think that's all. Yes.
Okay, thank you. So brief.
And thank you so
So
much for
inspirational.
having me here.
I had so much fun.
Yes.
Okay, guys, stay tuned for following episodes. And thank you for, if you guys have been keeping up with the season, it means so much to me. Your support means so much to me. So catch this episode on Spotify, Apple, wherever you find your podcast, Google Podcasts, wherever, if that's still a thing. But yeah, until next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.